Hey, y'all. This is Pastor Scott, and this is Real Talk. This is our weekly video check-in series where we get an opportunity to come to you and talk to you about things that are going on in the church and in the community. And we are getting ready to start a new series of introducing you to some of the life groups that we've created in the last 6 months here at Herndon United Methodist Church. Life groups are a way for people to get connected into the church without necessarily being focused into some type of discipleship or Bible study. This is just a way for people to get connected in opportunities for intergenerational groups so that you might be able to get connected with other people. And that could be through a few different ways. It could be through specific interests. It could be through the days or nights you're available, or it could be from a geographic standpoint. And so this week we're doing life near Leesburg. And so this is more of a geographic side, and I'm joined today by Lydia Hurlocker. Lydia is one of the leaders for this great intergenerational group. And so we thought we would come together today and share a little bit more about this life group. So if you're thinking about a life group, or you maybe you haven't heard of this and you're interested after you hear one of these videos or watch one of these videos and hear what they have to say, it's a great opportunity for you to do that. So Lydia, first of all, thanks for joining me. And I want to ask you first, can you just tell us a little bit, 10,000-foot view about life near Leesburg and what your group is doing?
Yeah, thank you. So our group is, like you said, primarily geographical. We usually meet a little bit west of Herndon or, as far as Leesburg. So people that live in Sterling, Ashburn, Leesburg area. We're based out of Leesburg, and even though we attend Herndon UMC, it's easier for us a lot of times to do something that's closer to home because we have a toddler and lots of other reasons. But our group is multi-generational, and we meet on Sundays after the morning service, so usually around noon for lunch out at a restaurant. And we have kind of a rotating list based on the group's preferences and location and time restrictions. So we usually just get together after the morning service for a meal, and we just sit together and talk and catch up on what's going on in our lives and how we can support each other and pray for each other. That's often how we start. And just share updates about life and talk about whatever comes up.
So you're meeting on Sundays after the service. How often do you meet? And tell me a little bit more about the intergenerational, how many people you have and age ranges.
Yeah, so we meet 1 to 2 times a month, depending on the month. We try to meet a couple times a month, and our age range starts at 15 months almost, and goes up. Well, we have a toddler, parents, grandparents, and great grandparents. So I'm not sure exactly what our maximum age is, but it's a pretty big range.
I'm sure that probably opens up different types of dialogue and conversations because people are coming from different viewpoints in life. How's that been, and what's that experience been like?
It has been really interesting for me as somebody who hasn't lived in the area for more than maybe 5 years. It's been interesting to hear about just sort of how things have changed here, what the church has been through in the past, and how that has changed, and people that have been pillars of the community for a long time that maybe I'm just meeting have some really interesting stories. As a fairly new mom, it's been really helpful to hear people's perspectives on kids and ideas for things to do when it's rainy and cold outside, all kinds of different aspects, schools, education, just how to keep a kid involved in the church, and lots of different advice, stories that are sometimes funny. So it's been really interesting to hear different people's perspectives, also balancing work and family, just a lot of different aspects that people have a lot of wisdom to share. And it also goes the opposite way sometimes. So, us in our 20s trying to help people with setting up a printer or a smartphone app and things like that. So there's a little bit of a reverse mentoring there too.
It's awesome. I didn't even think about that benefit, and I should, because I have 3 daughters that teach me about apps and new technology all the time. So that's pretty cool. So I learned recently that you and another life group are getting ready to get together for an event, and I'm curious as to how that came about, and what are you guys looking to do?
So we're basically just going to share a meal together and have some conversation about what our different groups do. We have mostly just been getting together for lunches. That's easiest for a lot of our members, just with different restrictions and scheduling constraints and things like that. But I think there are probably some ideas that we could get from them. Maybe different things we could do over a meal together, or meet during a regular time, but do something a little bit different. Or maybe meet when there's not a service in the evening or something like that. We usually attend the evening service. So I think it'll be a good opportunity to sort of maybe bring our intergenerational aspect, and talk about what that's been like for us, and get some ideas from them too.
You mentioned you go to the evening service, the 5 o'clock service. In your group, I believe you said you had 11 people. So what's the breakup? Is it about 50-50 as far as early service, late service, or have you figured that part out yet?
So we have 4 of us that attend the 5 p.m. service, and then so the other 7 go to the morning service. So it's been really helpful for us going to the smaller service to get to know more people, and in a closer way, who don't attend our service, that we don't see every Sunday otherwise.
So if you were gonna share something with somebody that's new, somebody comes into the church for the first time, they're visiting, they're not sure if this is the place for them, and they hear about these life groups and they think, well, I kind of live out in that Ashburn to Leesburg corridor. Maybe this is the one that I'd be interested in. So I'm brand new. I walk in and I say, let me introduce you to Lydia. Lydia is one of the leaders in this group. What would you share with them?
I would say, come join our life group. You've got to eat lunch anyway. If you have time, this is a really low pressure way to just meet people, hear some interesting conversation, get to know some of what our church looks like. It's really low key, very welcoming environment.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, is the low key part, right? Because a lot of people feel like, I know at least back when we were looking at joining churches, when we moved to South Carolina, we walked in the door and it was like, here's when this meeting is, and volunteer for this. And it kind of felt like, a to-do list of things that we had to do, instead of just kind of getting connected into, some of the community and some of the people. And that hands-off approach, I think, is more welcoming than people think.
Yeah.
I think for some people that have been in churches for so long, they maybe don't realize what that looks like. So I think that's really important to share with anybody that's watching this, is that, this Life Near Leesburg group is low key, and it's a great opportunity to go out and meet some people of all different generations and just get connected. So Lydia, is there anything else that I missed, or that maybe you want to share about this group? And maybe do you have any special events coming up? Is there anything else that you might be able to share with anybody?
Yeah, I think one thing that's been really encouraging to me is that even when we're not meeting, like on our off weeks, we often get emails about, hey, I saw your prayer request from someone else in the group. Is there anything else you want to share? Like anything we can do to help you? So it really is just a small community. Yeah, we don't have any, people miss one week, that's fine. And there's no pressure to do anything. It's just, we're just going to gather for a meal, because at some point we're all going to do that anyway. So why not do it together? But yeah, it's a really encouraging group, a lot of wisdom and insights, and just, it's just really uplifting, I would say.
And I will say that when we started these and people were asking, well, what should our group do? And we just said, it's up to you. I love that this group just gets together and hangs out. And your group kind of realized that going out to restaurants is the way that works for your group. We have other groups that play board games. We have other groups that they were watching Sunday sports after the services. There was another group that is just kind of hanging out like your group, which is a group that I think you'll be connecting with soon, and just hanging out, which is great. And then we have Young Pros, which is another group that with young professionals, and we'll meet with them coming up soon as well. But I just look at this as, we're coming out of this, hopefully we're coming out of this world of COVID, and it could be really, really scary to kind of get back out there and get to, inside a group with a bunch of people, and how is that going to work? And am I going to fit in? What better way to get connected than with a life group where it's low key. You get an opportunity to meet people, as opposed to signing up for being part of the worship services or some type of committee, which is something that we really don't want to. We don't want to push. We want people to just be able to feel like they can come and be them. And so I'm really excited about your life group, and I'm really hopeful that more people will be interested in coming. And so before we head out, what is the best way for somebody that watches this that either is new to Herndon, or maybe has been with Herndon for a long time, but says, you know what, I want to join that life group, at least go out with them at least once. How do they do that? How do they get connected with you?
So you can definitely go to the Herndon UMC website and go to the life group section, click on that, and it'll send me an email, or you can email me directly. I'm at LC Hurlocker, that's HURLOCKER @gmail.com, and happy to connect. Everybody is welcome. It's honestly, as a full-time working mom with a toddler, it's a breath of fresh air to just get together. And yeah, it's just a really nice group. Anybody with young kids, anybody older, everybody's welcome.
Awesome. Lydia, thanks so much for joining us. I'm glad that you're our first one. You're our leadoff hitter. But we're hopeful that this will be an opportunity for people to find out more about our life groups and would be interested in getting connected. So if you're interested, reach out to Lydia. They'd love to have you. So with that, that's the end of this week's Real Talk. Next week, we'll be with another life group, but I wanted to thank Lydia again, and I hope you guys have a great week. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.